Trump is not a big fan of video games, partly because the controllers are too big and also because he believes they inspire real-world violence. So this afternoon, he summoned the heads of the video game industry and their critics to a roundtable discussion. For a change, Trump decided to be camera shy, so there's no footage of this meeting, although we here at The Daily Show were able to get exclusive audio of what went down.
Okay, let's get started. Wait. Why isn't Mario here?
Mario's not coming, sir. Video game characters don't exist.
Okay, but then why is that Koopa Troopa here?
I'm Mitch McConnell.
That's just what a Koopa would say. Let's jump on him!
Ow, Mr. President, ow, my neck.
Now, Trump is hardly the first person to blame gun violence in part on video games. In fact, this has been an idea that's been around for decades now.
This is the handheld implement with which you play the game by shooting it at the screen. Instead of enriching a child's mind, these games teach a child to enjoy inflicting torture.
Of course it affects our children, and it affects our kids in a very negative way.
Yeah, you see, it turns out politicians have been warning about the dangers of violent video games way back when. I mean, like, this is back when games looked like this. Remember this? Yeah? To them, this was hyper-realistic violence. I mean, to me, it looks like you're pointing a dildo at a Nazi dance crew. I don't see the violence. And here's what I don't get about this argument. How come video games are supposedly so influential, but only when it comes to guns, right? Because, I mean, if they really were as influential as politicians say, then shouldn't games influence us with everything? Like, as kids, we spent every day playing Paperboy. But that never inspired anyone to go out and commit mass paper deliveries. No one was like, it's because of the games! Extra, extra, read all about it! And here's the thing. There have been hundreds of studies on this issue, and they have shown that there isn't any connection between violent video games and violence activities. Now, that doesn't mean that video games have no influence on you, because let's be honest, everything we consume as human beings affects us somehow, right? Sex and the City might make you want to go to brunch. Karate Kid might have made people join the local dojo. Hell, if it wasn't for Instagram, I would have never gotten my butt implants, okay? Yeah, I got it on the back because I already had a real ass. I just wanted another one. It's like, because two asses, I mean, come on, why not? So yes, I agree that video games can affect your behavior. But so can TV and movies, and I mean, hell, there's even violence in the Bible. Motherfuckers were killing people with jawbones in there. Like, you can't take violence out of the world. What you can do is limit the tools violent people have, right? Which is exactly what they've done in Japan.
The Japanese play many of the same violent video games that we do. In 2015, gaming revenue in Japan was over $12 billion. Behind only the United States and China. Japan has some of the strictest gun laws in the world. In 2015, this nation of 127 million counted only one gun murder.
Wow. Only one gun murder. That is impressive. And I'm sorry, but if you're the only gun death in a country of 120 million people, you probably deserve it. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. Look, man, the truth is, many countries around the world have figured this out. The most effective and realistic way to limit gun violence is to regulate who has access to guns. And while the president is talking about video games, interestingly enough, lawmakers in Florida have decided to take action.
New state gun legislation is headed to the desk of Florida Governor Rick Scott this morning after last month's deadly school shooting in Parkland.
The bill raises the minimum age for buying firearms to 21, imposes a 3-day waiting period for gun purchases, bans bump stocks, and establishes new mental health programs in schools.
I'm going to say a sentence that I'm assuming has never before been uttered on this show. Well done, Florida. Well done. I mean, usually the news coming out of Florida is like, man arrested for threesome with 2 rattlesnakes. So this is a step in the right direction. Now, the bill does do one other thing that might not be as popular.
The most controversial provision in this legislation is the Marshall Program. That's a program that would allow teachers and other school personnel to be armed as long as they go through training. In this case, 144 hours of training.
Yep, Florida teachers about to get strapped. Yeah, which means that kids are going to be a lot more engaged in class. And be like, who wants to answer the next question? Wow, a lot of hands up, a lot of hands going up. 2 hands, look at you, yeah. Here's what I find interesting about this law, all right? Florida lawmakers have decided that the teachers, the people they trust with their kids, need to meet strict standards before they can carry a gun, right? 144 hours of training and passing a psychological exam and random drug tests and additional training every year, which makes sense. But when it comes to anyone outside of a school, they go, yeah, just give that random dude a gun. I mean, what's the worst that could happen, right? I feel like you guys were so close to figuring this out. Just take that same law, cross out teachers, and write in everyone. Problem solved. Why doesn't everyone have to go through those same steps? It makes sense. So, if you'll excuse me, I've been playing a ton of Angry Birds, so I've got to go outside and throw some pigeons at pigs.